Cool. So I think we'll get started. First of all, thank you to everyone who has joined. Appreciate your time today. Um, my name's Gordon Ross, and I'll be your host today on behalf of the team at Roswell. Today's session is called AI and Your Business. Let's talk practical solutions, and that's exactly what we're going to focus on. Because if you're anything like most of the businesses that we speak to, certainly the guys speak to on a daily basis, you're probably hearing a lot about AI at the moment, but not a lot of it feels directly useful or actionable. There's loads of theory out there. There's plenty of big claims out there, but it's not always clear what that actually means for your day-to-day business. And that's really the gap we're looking to close today. So what we see across most small to medium-sized businesses is a reality that says there's a huge amount of time spent on things that don't really need to be manual anymore. Lower value work for your people, essentially, who could be better deployed elsewhere, speaking to more customers, engaging with more prospects, or progressing projects that you're working on, whatever it happens to be. Now, when we say low value, we're talking what's on screen, chasing emails, updating spreadsheets, moving information from one system to another, following up on things that have maybe been missed tasks, falling between the cracks. Individually, none of that feels like a big issue, but collectively, they'll come together to slow everything down. What we want to get you to by the end of this session is really just some simple and practical guidance. By the end of the session, you're going to have a clearer idea of what AI can actually help you with in your business. You'll have a better understanding of what good looks like in practice and a real example that you can take away and think about how you could apply to your business. And importantly, nothing here is overly technical. It's about what works and not how clever it sounds. So before we get into it, I'm joined by a few colleagues today who'll be helping to bring this to life for you. We've got Will Sinclair, Sales Director here in the team at Roswell. We have Vandan Mandloi. Vandan is our technical lead for the AI Solutions department of the business. And we've also got Graeme Gaskin on the call. Graeme's our head of our AI Solutions department. And a bit later on, my colleagues, Vandan and Graeme, will be taking us through that live agent build, and you'll see it deployed in real time. But before we get there, we want to spend a few minutes setting the scene, and we'll pass to Will, and Will will take you through what he's having a conversation with and what Roswell are seeing on a day-to-day basis. Will.
Thanks for that, Gordon. So just first of all, before we get started and explain a little bit about the AI solutions that we're talking about, first of all, we need to explain why Roswell and why are Roswell providing AI solutions. So we're really proud to say that next year we're celebrating our 30th anniversary. So like all businesses, we have to keep up with the times, and there's lots of things, there's lots of change, and we've got to innovate and do new things. And one of the biggest risks currently is adopting AI safely and securely. And you've probably seen there's lots of new providers out there and lots of new businesses providing solutions that sound great, but actually when you get under the skin of it, there's a huge risk to your business, and maybe some of the claims that they're making are not credible. Roswell has a credible reputation. It's been looking after businesses safely and securely for that whole time. So who better to help your business innovate, move forward and grow than us? We put safety at the heart of everything that we do. We put the customer at the heart of everything that we do. So when we started looking at AI, we looked at what problems businesses were genuinely having rather than some of those unfounded claims. So when we talk about AI at Roswell, we're not talking about replacing people or ripping out systems or anything that's overly complex. We're talking about solving very familiar, very everyday problems. And this is really aimed at businesses that look like yours. So it's SMEs, growing teams, businesses where processes have evolved over time, processes that have been handed from generation to generation, from one person to another, without someone necessarily understanding why or how that process was built, and therefore how to make that process work more efficiently over time. Where a lot of these things still rely on people holding it all together. And that might be someone remembering to do something like follow up an inquiry, someone manually updating a CRM, someone pulling together reports for different systems. And again, these things do work. People do work well. Communication is a really important part in that, but they're time consuming tasks and they're not always consistent. So the opportunity with AI isn't just doing these things faster, it's doing them more reliably or removing them altogether. So letting systems handle the repetitive work in the background so your team can focus on things that actually move the business forward. And so your team have got more time doing that high value, people focused work that really impacts the business and your customers. So what does that look like in practice? It could be something like an inbox and CRM. It could be something where you've got a few examples like this that we're seeing in businesses already. Instead of emails just sitting in someone's inbox, being unread, forwarded, categorized in the wrong way, or maybe not picked up by the right team at the right time, AI can really help you triage those properly. It can triage them to the correct person without anyone actually having to read that, without anyone having to look at that. And that can be tagged to the right team, the right person, and with time attached to it, which is a really important thing for what we've seen in businesses, is that emails coming in with the correct time attached to them for an SLA or for a ticket to go through and actually be worked on, which helps your service level, it helps your business, and it helps your reputation. AI can also create tasks automatically from these emails, which really, really moves the needle forward and stops having people to help prioritize their own workload. They can actually get that prioritized for them, which I think is a huge thing in most businesses. We can route people to the right person, which I think is probably one of those really critical things that does fall down when communication stops or someone's off sick or you're dealing with an outsourcer. How do you know that you're speaking to the right person at the right time? AI can do that all in an instant without taking lots of time or resource. Another thing that we see is CRM updates and data entry, and that can be one of the biggest pain points for a lot of businesses. It takes a lot of manual input for the data. So AI can take information from your emails, like I said, forms, conversations. It can record your videos, your calls, and transcribe them. It can populate CRM records, update your contact details, log activity, keep everything up to date in a much more timely manner without having a need for someone to be on top of that all of the time. So your data stays accurate without relying on someone to remember to input it, which in 2026 is a really, really important thing. We all know how important data is for, even just dealing with your customers, let alone your own business. The other thing that we see, which is a really popular thing in the sales world at the moment, is the concept called speed to lead. That theory is that the quicker that you respond to someone that's asking for your service, the higher chance you can convert them to a customer. So that's lead qualification, that's inquiries, rather than every single inquiry being handled manually and someone, constantly at the forefront having to pick up the phone really, really quickly. You can capture key information up front, qualify leads based on your criteria, route high value opportunities really quickly so that if you do have to pick up the phone, you're never going to miss one of those big opportunities. And your team can spend a little bit more time where it matters most, and that's focusing on those relationships, like we said. The other thing that we're seeing at the moment, and it's really, really popular for us, we launched last week and we've already been inundated with inquiries about this, is our first product that Roswell have ever launched, and it's Tarsha AI, which is a voice agent. Now that's really popular in a lot of different worlds for different reasons, but the one that we've released seems to fit quite a lot of different businesses that handle high volume calls. So it can handle inbound calls, especially out of hours or during busy periods. If your team aren't available, the AI can step in and say, look, our team are really at capacity at the moment. Can we take a message and triage that for you and we'll get some to call you back at the right time? It's a really high level version of an answering machine. It solves those problems that at the start of the relationship where your customer's maybe not sure what's happening, it gives them a better experience. It answers common queries, it routes calls quicker, it helps you capture the information so that your team can deal with it in a timely manner and you're not missing opportunities or you're not being interrupted constantly. The other thing that we see is workflow automation. So things like invoicing, reporting, internal processes. We've been asked a lot about this. Some of our customers deal with financial teams and putting invoices through quite a lot. So there's a lot of volume and a lot of manual data entry there. AI can help you trigger those different actions based on events, which can be a real time saver. And also, again, it's reliable and you don't miss any opportunities. You don't miss invoicing someone or miss an invoice coming to you in a timely manner. So moving information between systems, keeping things progressing without manual intervention is really important for a lot of those businesses that we're already working with. But the important thing across all of this really is the business impact. These aren't huge transformational IT projects. It's not things that take weeks and weeks to implement. It's something that you need a team of specialists to be able to deploy for you and coach you how to use it. But once it's in your business, it's there and ready to use. There's small targeted improvements that help remove hassles and pain points and get rid of all that friction. So when you layer a few of these things together, without being overly complex, you can actually start to see a huge impact in time saved, errors made, faster response times, and a better experience for both you and your customers as well, saving your team time, which is a huge thing that we're seeing, and we're getting a lot of requests through about how can we save time for our team. And I think that really helps us transition into what the team are going to show you in the next few minutes.
Perfect. Thanks, Will. Now, all that sounds good in principle, but one of the biggest challenges with AI that we see is that it stays at that level. It sounds useful, but it's quite hard to visualize. So rather than just talk about it, we're going to show you. In the next part of the session, Vandan, our technical lead, and Graeme, our head of AI solutions, are going to build a working AI agent. This will be based on a common business scenario, something you'll recognize straight away, and you're going to see three things: how quickly something like this can be created, what's actually involved behind the scenes, and how this can be applied to your business. The aim here isn't to show you something that's overly complex, it's to show you something that can feel real, can feel accessible, and can feel achievable for your business. Now, they do say that for live TV, you should never work with kids or animals. That could well be extended to AI agent live builds on webinars, but we're going to give it a go. And I'm going to hand you over to Vandan and Graeme, and they're going to take you through that build and deployment.
Thanks, Gordon. So in the next 12 to 15 minutes, we are going to show you how you can quickly create a live AI agent on Tarsha. Use it for your real use cases. That could be your AI answering service. That could be an AI receptionist for you. That could even be an AI voice agent that calls your customers and wishes them happy birthday on their birthdays. And that could be automated as well. So that's a very interesting use case that you can use. But for today's session, Graeme is going to act as a customer and then going to talk to a live AI voice agent. And before we jump onto the demo, he will show you how you can quickly create a bunch of these AI agents on Tarsha, use them for your business, get them up and live in minutes or even days for like complex use cases. And then we'll also show you a live AI assistant, which could be your business intern. Essentially, you can hand off tasks, you can hand off context, you can ask it to do things for you, and you can practically use it for your business, which could be in any industry. So let's first start with Tarsha, and over to you, Graeme, to give us a demo of the platform.
Thanks for that, Vandan. So Tarsha is Roswell AI's voice agent platform, which we use it's built to handle inbound calls, things that are receptionist duties, inquiry handling, appointment booking, out-of-hours support, all without anyone actually needing to pick up the phone. So here in Tarsha, we can actually create an agent. For example, let's just call it Jack Black. So his role could be, which we've predetermined as a lending bot. This is the description for us. And this can use any language model currently, and it can also you can choose a transcription, so the way it will transcribe the audio that's coming in. You select a voice provider. So these can be custom voices, which we can create as well. And you've got a greeting message, which can be predetermined the way you would like it to be set. And the system prompt, which is essentially the heart of the entire voice bot itself. And after that, you would just select a name, create a greeting. Hello, welcome to. And then next, and it's as simple as that, as creating a voice bot. But like I say, this is only a few seconds of creating one. Imagine how good it would be if you spent a lot of time actually creating the voice bot agent. So next, I'm just going to do a quick call demo, which will show you a lending agent. I'm just going to throw in the number here. And this is going to call me. And we'll call it Jack Black again. And you'll hear this come through now once I take myself off Do Not Disturb.
Hi there, this is Callum from Eden Private Limited. I'm just reaching out to see if we can help you with a mortgage, personal loan or business finance today. How can I help?
I'm looking to inquire about a personal loan.
Perfect, thanks for letting me know. Just so I can point you to the right person, is this for a business or personal matter?
Personal.
Sorry, just to clarify, is this a personal matter or a business matter?
Personal.
Sorry, I'm not quite following you there. Could you say that again, please?
Personal.
Brilliant, thanks for that. Could I take your name and your best callback number?
Jack Black.
Got you, Jack Black. And what's the best number to call you back on?
07899915231.
Perfect, Jack. So that's 07899952231. Is that right?
Yeah, 07899915231.
Cheers, Jack. So that's 07899915231. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great. And what's the best email address for you?
That's jackblack@gmail.com.
Perfect. So that's jackblack@gmail.com. Is that right?
Correct.
Brilliant, Jack. Someone will be in touch shortly. Take care now.
Goodbye. So that is essentially not the best caller experience, but it is what a caller experience, what it could be like. So it never actually has an off day, never misses a call. If you can imagine, if we just spent a bit more time creating a prompt, and like I say, if we just did, we've only spent 12 minutes to do this. So if you spend 12 days doing this, you can imagine just how good it can get. Yeah, to hand back over to Vandan.
Awesome. Thanks for the demo, Graeme. Let me just screen share and then take everybody through what a post-call workflow could look like, essentially. So let me just take over the screen. 1 second. Awesome. So what you just witnessed was a very basic 2-minute demo call. And these voice agents are not just limited to doing the calls and taking down information, but they could be used for even actions that could come after the call. So for example, we just did the call, and then you as a business owner and your customer both could get an email confirming what they just spoke about on the call. Any sort of other actions that could alert your team, maybe sync the data to your CRM, even trigger, let's say, a customer support ticket that could be resolved by your team, and then they could also be alerted on Teams, on Slack, via email or WhatsApp, or any of these preferred platforms that your team uses for their day-to-day communication and their day-to-day operations. And these workflows are not just limited to just sending emails or just notifications, but these could actually also trigger workflows that you might have for a different use case. For example, if I just call the voice agent, tell it the whole summary of my business trip where I spent on food, shopping, etc., and then it can just take that information, log it into my accounting software, and then I do not really have to care about logging in, going into the software, manually typing all these expenses, and doing my accounting. So let's just jump onto the next demo. So the next demo is basically an AI assistant for your business, which could potentially be connected to any software that you use for your day-to-day operations. That could be your accounting software, that could be your CRM, that could be your communication platform, that could be any niche software that you might use for your business day-to-day operations. That could be your POS system for your restaurant. That could be a software that you use to monitor your access control systems in a building, or any such use cases. So any software can possibly be connected to your AI assistant, which then can let the AI assistant take context, take information, take data from there, process that data, and present it to you in a more structured way, or maybe even take actions on your behalf and do actions for you. So for example, over here, I have Roswell's AI assistant, which, and I'm asking it to tell me if I have any customer support tickets and how can I resolve them. So let me just send this right now. And the AI agent will just trigger. It's already working on it now. And for example, over here, I asked it, can you tell me what customer support tickets are open today? And it just gave me like a bunch of tickets that I have in my customer support software. And now here we go. We have the last ticket. What's the data with that ticket? And then it has given me like a draft resolution for it. It can even draft emails for me. It can send those emails to the customer if it has the right data and context about it. It will always ask you for approvals before it goes on and then does a task for you. So it is very much compliant, very much safe and secure, and it does not go wild. So it has guardrails as well. And this is just one of the use cases which you could have. So you can have these white AI assistants on WhatsApp, you can have them on Telegram, you can have them on Teams, or any of your preferred software. So let me just show you how simply you can just connect it to your CRM or maybe any of your software. So this is a demo interface of a software which we prepared for the webinar. We have all the information over here, and this could be potentially your software which is connected to the AI assistant, and the assistant can then change information over here, log a customer ticket, even go on and then just tell you how many tickets do you have open for today. So this is just one of the examples. Let's talk more about what different and how differently this AI assistant is built and why it is more secure than using Claude or ChatGPT. Um, the best way to start with any of these AI assistants is basically to figure out what specific use cases do you have in your company's different departments. That could be HR, that could be marketing, that could be customer support, or even admin operations. And then you can come speak to us about, let's say, an AI audit. We can help you figure out how you can build a custom AI assistant or an AI solution or even a workflow for you, which is enterprise grade, which is very secure, follows all the compliance in the UK, is also certified for your company to use, and does not go wild, and is very well tested before it goes into production or is exposed to any of your team members. So this was another example. We also have a bunch of these demos for any industry. And if you're really confused about how you can implement any of these AI assistants, or if you have, let's say, any questions about where to start and where not to start, we also have Roswell's AI automation page on our website, where you can find a simple chatbot which you can chat with. It will give you real use cases and real solutions for your industry, as well as your specific business use cases. So it can tell you what workflows to build, what use cases are there for your specific problems and your specific business scenarios. And you can just use those and start somewhere, maybe map out your different manual tasks in a day, your manual operations in a day, and then you can just speak to us and then we'll help you out over there. Awesome. Over to you, Gordon.
Thanks, Vandan. Thanks, Graeme, as well. Yeah, okay, so as I said earlier, these aren't big transformational IT projects. They're small, they're bespoke to your business, hopefully. They're targeted improvements, and they're all about removing pain points and friction points from the business. We have a Q&A box open. Feel free to drop anything in there. But just to get started, and I should say to everyone, we'll be another 5-6 minutes, so we're not going to run over time. Probably one for Graeme. Graeme, how secure are these types of AI solutions? I know Vandan touched on it a little, but could you give a bit more info on the security side of things?
Yeah, so I actually think that's a really good question, because I think security is one of the first things that we really have to look at. And, I think as well, Will touched up on it as well. We've been doing this for nearly 30 years. Security is like at the top for when it comes to Roswell. So, but to answer that question properly, I think it means controlling what the data the AI can actually access in the first place, which means limiting the actions that it can take to begin with, and then giving it, you know, don't give it you're not going to give it any insensitive information or anything like that. So it's all going to be handled correctly. We would never just connect an AI assistant to everything and just let it run wild, essentially. So the key is actually building it with clear boundaries from the very start. That's why I said at the start, I think this is why where Roswell IT's background really matters, because we've been a trusted MSP for nearly 30 years. So we're not just looking at this as just an AI tool. We're looking at it as an IT solution that needs to be secure and reliable and suitable for your business.
Cool. When you're speaking with clients about potential solutions, are you talking them through those guardrails that are in place, bespoke to any specific build that you're doing?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Probably second question, maybe more Will, your side of things here. The guys have obviously shared a few solutions, and people on the call will be aware of others, no doubt. How do they figure out where to start? It's a big question.
Yeah, so a very easy question to answer. Come and speak to us, because there are thousands and thousands of solutions coming to the market every day, and if you're not an expert in this type of thing, it can be overwhelming. So the problem that we have, and why we're doing a webinar, we're only trying to show you 2 solutions in 12 minutes, but we already have built more than this. So we don't expect you to know, and we don't expect you to be the expert. You have to come and speak to us and really figure out and be creative about what type of problems that you're having, so that we can be creative about the solutions that are possible, because almost anything is possible here.
Perfect. And probably just to build on that, there's a question from Alan about how quickly could you get a chatbot or a business assistant like the one Vandan took us through up and running for a small to medium-sized business?
Yeah, so I mean, our sales process would be longer than our development process, so it would take us anywhere between 1 day to a week to put into place the solutions that we've already built. But it's bespoke. It depends on what solution it is that we're putting in. The complexity of the task really is the thing that would dictate how long it would do it. But for example, the one that Vandan showed, we could deploy that within a day or 2. Most of the time spent doing that would actually be training you how to use it properly.
Okay, cool. One final one, unless something else comes in. AI, by its nature, is moving very quickly. Is there a chance that the solutions you're talking about just now will quickly become dated after just a few months, or are these quite future-proofed?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every solution that you see, not even regarding AI, can be outdated. So any business can go through that. To be honest, you have to keep innovating to move your business forward. So, and nothing more so than with AI, because it's moving at such a rapid pace. But that's kind of the point of why you would speak to someone like ourselves, because we know what the changes are. We know what's coming down the pipeline, and we can stay ahead of the game a little bit in terms of developing new solutions. And that doesn't mean that we give you a solution and then leave you alone and that's you. What we would expect is to build a relationship there to make sure that we're iterating, giving you a solution that works, but over time developing it to be cutting edge and as good as it possibly can be. One of the challenges really that small businesses have is that the real cutting edge AI solutions that are out there, these huge companies are charging an absolute fortune for people to deploy this. Now, we are specifically targeting small businesses so that we can make it affordable, so that we can look after it for you and manage that like a service. If there's within 6 months a completely new platform, we wouldn't expect you to know that. We would try and keep you up to date, and if we felt that it was critical that you moved on to a different platform, then we would be there asking you to do that.
Perfect. So nothing else coming in. I think probably covered quite a lot. So hopefully you've seen, I guess today, what we've made AI solutions feel a bit more real, a bit more practical. The key thing to take away is you don't need to transform everything overnight. The biggest impact usually comes from starting small, with the processes that are slowing you down today. And if something you've seen like this or something on this call has resonated, then we're obviously more than happy to explore those processes and those solutions and what they could look like to your business specifically. Sheila, in fact, I've just seen one last question come in really quickly. Maybe, well, how can this replace the telephone auto answer service? Pick option 1, 2, or 3. Is that?
Yeah,
I'm going to hand
I
it over
think-
to the IT team who might know better on that question.
Yeah, so that's something that we've worked on within Roswell to do that
Okay.
ourselves. So we built a product, but we're also using the product ourselves. So Graeme can tell you a little bit about the implementation of that and how long it took us to do it. But yes, it can replace an out-of-hours service. It can replace an in-hours service, rather than a customer waiting to press some really long-winded explanations and holding on to press a button. It can be auto-triggered. So once a customer becomes familiar with that, it actually speeds it up for them as well. So, but I think Graeme or Vandan could maybe add a little bit about how the technical replacement can happen there.
Yeah. So yeah, go on, Vandan.
Okay, awesome. So generally, the 1, 2, 3 sort of button systems are called IVRs. So these IVR systems are very outdated. They have been in business, I think, since the last 20 years or so. And now they have become very outdated because generally they cannot really transfer a call or maybe have someone on hold unless there is availability of an agent to pick up the call. So if everybody in your business is busy, nobody would be able to pick up the call, and then the person or your customer would just wait on the phone for like minutes, hours, you never know. So essentially, these voice agents can answer questions for your customers. They can take down the information, schedule a call back, put something on your calendar for them to, for your team to, or for the customer to chat with you about. It can answer specific questions. For example, for our voice agent Bob, for simple IT problems, it can give you an answer right away. So you do not really need a person to help you out with a very simple problem that you might be facing. It has been trained on our own personal data that we have seen through the last years about IT questions that are like very common. All of our customers would ask about very specific sort of simple questions. So it has already been fed with all those questions. It already knows what the answers are to those questions, and then it can pretty much also solve your IT problems right away. And as the technology gets better, I think these voice agents, these AI assistants will only get better from here. Maybe in the next 6 months, you might be able to do even more with these AI assistants and AI voice agents, because at what pace AI is moving right now, you don't even know what could come in the next month or so. So it's been really fast.
Cool. I think questions are coming in a bit now. Just quite briefly, probably yourself, Vandan, how can AI help with invoice and integration to account software? So a QuickBooks, a free agent, a Xero, that type of thing?
Yeah, so QuickBooks, Xero are like one of the most popular accounting softwares. All of these softwares would generally have an API. So an API is basically, you can think of it as a bridge between two softwares. So AI and your accounting software can be connected with an API. AI would generally have access to your accounting software, for example, QuickBooks, in terms of helping you doing the invoicing part. So think of it as if you have recurring invoices that have to be sent monthly on, let's say, the first or the second of the month. You can create a workflow which could pretty much create these invoices in your accounting software and then send them to particular email addresses that you might have in a spreadsheet, or maybe in your CRM for your customers. All of that can be done. Invoicing is one of the, I think, very big use cases that a lot of accounting firms have adopted recently, which is essentially you don't really need to go and create these invoices yourself. You can trigger an automation to run every month or maybe even every week if the billing cycle is different. And that could be like a very simple workflow. Maybe if you want, let's say, have chat or if you want to chat with your own accounting software's data. Like I showed, the AI assistant could be one of the ways you can connect it to your accounting software, chat with the data, even ask it to create an invoice and then send the invoice to a particular email address because it is already connected to your Outlook or your Gmail. So it already has access to your Gmail to send emails. It has access to your accounting software to create those invoices, and it also has access to your CRM such that it can just go and find the email address of your customer and then send the invoice directly from there.
Perfect. Okay, so just to wrap up then, as we said earlier, the biggest impact usually comes from starting small and just having a conversation with us, and we can show how Vandan's theory, if you like, would work in your specific business. So if something has resonated, we'd be more than happy to obviously explore what that could mean to your business specifically. We will share a link to the recording with you, and you can also use the QR code that we'll share, and that'll allow you just to book a short discovery call, even like 15 minutes, half an hour, just to have a look at the art of the possible, I guess, in your business. But for now, thanks again for your time. Really appreciate you joining us, and we'll be in touch with some follow-up comms to help you hopefully take that next step. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.